Good afternoon, morning, evening, no matter where you're at. So, ESAs are emotional support animals, are no longer covered underneath HUD or any other function of any other government. Plain and simple. So, if any government entity tries to do that, you have precedents other than, in other words, you have the federal government saying you cannot make an emotional support animal a condition of renting. You can't. You can make things stricter, but you cannot take the exception away, which is what Salina Commission meeting did. You can make things more stringent, but you can't take away the exception. You cannot, because of the supremacy clause. In other words, you can't drive without a license. Okay, that's fine. A state can do that. You can't drive a license without a driving test. That's county. That's perfectly legal. Because you're not taking away the right. You're just making the thing more stringent. Now, the city, you have to have your car registered. Or, not registered, because that's not quite, that's county still. The city says you have to pay property tax on the vehicle that you bought. Sales tax. They can do that. That's more stringent. However, they can't take your right completely away from driving unless you violated some law. Plain and simple. That's how that works. You cannot take an exception to a law at the federal level and say, oh, well, you only have an exception if this. No, that does not work.